have to make this video again. I made it twice and for some reason it didn't record, and the third time when I recorded it I had Leo just dropping as much things as possible all over the floor, so you can't hear anything that I'm saying. So to do this is the fourth time. Anyway, so I've come from Birmingham to here. There's a coach that goes straight from there to here, and I wanted to try it out rather than go through London. Going through London means that I have to take a train from central London to here, and that used to be like £6, but now it's like £9, so return journey is like £18. I don't want to spend £6 or £5 getting from Birmingham to London, only to have to spend £9 to get on this part of the journey. So I found a coach, same service, same line, but it goes straight to Gatwick, which is very close to my sister. But yes, I want to talk about the rise of Islam in UK. I'm from Birmingham, and there are lots and lots of Islamic people here. There are places that you can go where it's just the whole thing is Islam, and you feel like you're in the Middle East. You feel like the Middle East have just come over here. Like, a lot of them set up families. There's lots of Muslim women covered up. In fact, if you walk in my area specifically, there are a couple of schools where almost every single child in that school is Islamic, and you can't really see it until the school ends, because then you start seeing all the women covered in veils. So there's a huge amount of people wearing veils in my area. I think there's only a couple of white people. There's like for every 30, most of them are white. No, most of them are black Muslim. There's also white Muslim, but yeah, it's very, very Muslim is very big in my area. I went for a cheap area, hence why. It is there's a lot, but it's a high in Birmingham particularly. There's a lot, and I feel like definitely Islam is taking over England, and I am concerned because I didn't really do much research into Iran or what's happened there. I don't know what's going on in these countries. I have been to Egypt and Tunisia, but mostly just the tourist areas. I do definitely feel unsafe walking around the other areas, hence why I didn't do it that much. But I tried to just avoid the topic. For the last 12 years I've insulted Christianity a lot. I don't touch on Islam because I know you can get killed for it, and yeah, that's not a good reason not to speak out, but that's a good enough reason not to speak out, but it's not going to help or change anything. But I really don't trust the English government at all, and I feel like if the English government really is trying, but generally believes that there's nothing wrong with both Christian and Muslim, they're both peaceful religions, this is bullshit. Look at what's actually being taught in Islam and the hadiths and all these other things that I know nothing about, but look at what's in there and you will see that actually Islam is not a religion of peace. It's a religion that teaches you to try and convince the non-believers that you are a religion of peace, when really you go in there as soon as you know you can win. That's when you force your murder on people unless they side with your telling and your views and your principles and your beliefs. And that is what Islam is about, and it's not something that you want spreading. There are a lot of refugees in England, a lot of people like the friend that I had from Iran. They were running away from the Islamic regime. They were running away from this oppressive women are shit kind of view on people. They're half a man. Their testimony is half as important. They need to hide because God is a man, and only men can expose their hair, but if women expose their hair they get killed because women are not made in the image of God, hence they shouldn't be allowed to expose their hair. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is madness. This is insanity. And by supporting Islam, by supporting mosques, by promoting everything they believe, you are promoting this oppression of women. You are promoting this abuse of women. And this, if you have a school and you said, okay, I'm going to randomly pick 50% of them to wear red and a red band on their arm, and 50% to wear a blue band on your, and then for a couple of days, say for a whole week, you're going to give one of the colours privilege and the other not. You will find that the privileged ones start sitting together, start acting more. Say you can give them more food, or say you give, if you treat them better, they will have this sort of power or belief that they are better than the ones that wear the other colour. and you will see that they will start bullying the other color. Now that is what Islam does by separating men and women, by saying men are better and women are shit, basically, or less, half of a man. You're basically allowing men to just make all the decisions for themselves and all their beliefs. If they want to beat up their women for no reason, that's considered normal in Islam. You know, there are some terrible beliefs that Islam holds, and the idea of England building up I don't know how many mosques you're doing each year, but I've heard that that you're allowing more and more mosques each year to be built up in England. You are actually supporting this let's beat up women even if we don't have a view, if we don't have a reason for it. You know, you are supporting this inequality between male and female. You're supporting Sharia law, which is forcing people to cover up and to wear certain things. You know, I know there's a lot of women that do choose to cover because they genuinely believe it, but I think they genuinely believe it because they've been brainwashed into believing lies. Do they generally cover up because they think God wants them to cover up? Well, I am God, and so you are believing a lie. If you worship Muhammad because you think that Muhammad is God's perfect example for the world, well, I am God, and Muhammad is not my perfect example. He is someone who was designed or made to be a perfect, not a bad example, so that I can find out who's wanting to be this bad example, who's seeing that as being right, who's seeing that as being the perfect example, when really he created wars, and you know, he was not a good example. And the idea of England allowing lots and lots of mosques to be built, I feel like this is them saying we are ignorant, we don't know what's in their religion, and we don't care because we are just allowing freedom of choice, freedom. And I know that they need to support this belief because I want to know, you know, what people believe. And if people thought that it was wrong to worship Muhammad, no one would worship Muhammad. So you have to convince people that worshipping Muhammad is not worshipping, you're not supposed to worship him, but following him or seeing him as a good example. You know, if people thought that was a choice, it should be a choice. But I'm getting very, very concerned because it's a bad choice. That is always designed to be a bad choice, and I don't think England are recognizing or acknowledging that this is actually a choice that is a bad choice, because I'm God and he is not my favored person. I mean, I guess he's my favorite person out of all the inverted people, but yeah.